Back to CSC 151 computer applications. So what I have here is, in this video, we're going to go over random numbers, or more specifically, I guess, the random class, because random is a class in of itself. And unlike other things, it's not already in Python. I have to use import to use external modules. So if I wanted to have a timer, and I wanted to have like a countdown clock or whatever, I would have to import time. In this sort of situation, I need to import random. And I need to make sure that I import random before I wind up using it below. Because if I try to say, like, random dot rand int, I don't know, 3 and 5, I do something like this or whatever, this random happens before I've imported it. So that's not going to wind up working. And that's generally the case with everything. If you've been throwing up your variables below where you use them, it's not going to work. So let me just prove a point here by doing that. See, the name random is not defined because random doesn't exist yet. And same thing even if I did that without it. So if I had, if I said, print x. Oh, hello, what happened there? Print x. Before I said x equals 3, it'll say x is not defined. Because remember, the code goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes in order. So I'm telling my computer to print something before I've even declared what it is. So always put your variables up first. Always put your imports up first. So I will import random before I'm doing anything with random. Now then, now that I have random, I'll use x and I'll say x is equal to a random dot random range, which is a rand range, and I'll say, I don't know, 5. So now in theory, if we look at this, I should have the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 randomly selected. Let's go and hit play and see what happens. Whoops. Well, it helps when I actually print x first so that I can actually see the results. So there's 3, there's 0, there's 0 again, there's 1, there's 4, there's 3, there's 1, there's 0. This is weird. Why am I getting zeros? Well, once again, that's because, remember, your computer does not count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It counts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So with a range of 5, I do have 5 possible outcomes, but those possible outcomes start with 0. If I want to fix this, I could do a +1 to this maybe. So no matter what I get, if I get a 0, it'll become a 1. If I get a 4, it'll become a 5. And that would wind up getting me, there's a 5 right there, and I keep hitting play over and over again. I'll never wind up getting a 0 ever again in this sort of situation. So that's just one way to do this. There's another way to do this. Instead of doing a random range, I could do a random.rand integer. And a random integer just requires 2 things: a start point, comma, and an end point inside its little parameters. So I hit play here, and once again I'll still get my 5s and 3s and 2s and 1s and so on and so forth. And you'll notice I never have to worry about the error of potentially getting a 0. So there's that. The third possible way that we could wind up doing this would be with a random choice. And there's a choice of something. So what could the choices possibly be? Well, the choices have to be from a different thing, a different object. So if I were to say, make a list here, and that list was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I made that a random choice of y, just to, spread that out here. So there's the start of my choice, the end of my choice. Therefore, I'm having a random choice of y, which means I'm going to randomly get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of this. And there we go. It's still giving me the random numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, choice is a little bit different because while the other ones were numbers, choice doesn't have to be. Choice can be, strings and I don't know, what other type of pie? What type of pie begins with D? I'm going to say durian pie exists. I don't know if that actually does, but you know what? We're just going to say it. Elderberry. There we go. Just because I was on a pie kick there with apple pie, banana pie, cherry pie, so on and so forth. So, there we go. You can use words. There's banana. There's banana again. There's elderberry. There's cherry, banana, cherry, durian, banana, elderberry, durian. Come on, get apple. I wanted to see apple pop up once. There we go. There's apple. So, yeah, you can use strings in a list for a random choice. But for a random integer, so a random like rand int, I can't really do a random integer of apple to, elderberry. That really doesn't make sense. These are not integers. It would not work. See, like there, non-integer first argument for random range. For rand range on the 7th line. It's so confused it thinks this is random range instead of random integer. That's how badly this trying to put a string into an integer screws things up. But yeah, that's randomness. You can go and change things around. It'll give you a selection of certain things. If you want to, set things up, you can set things up with a choice. You could set them up with an integer. You could set them up with a range. All three of them will be valid and can be used in different scenarios depending on what it is you want. And now that we've gone through all this, the next video will be actually the follow-along, where we're going to put everything we've gone through in these sort of things, in these videos, we're going to put it together in one big giant program. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.